Hey you, did you realise you got a superpower? Not the ones that people tell you about and surprise you, well not surprise you, try to sell you and do all this and get it in 60 seconds. No, it was given to you at birth. It will only leave you if you die. And it's awesome and you can use it for good. You're good. What is it? Oh, you're going to have to listen after this. Hey, this is the Personal Development Unplugged podcast where we use hypnosis. Yeah, hypnosis. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Don't worry what it is. It's just a mass of processes that we're going to get you to change. Change to let go of anxiety, low self-esteem, and create massive supreme inner confidence. But that's confidence in your competence and competence in your confidence, which means you can do anything and be safe, to enjoy the world as it should be with you at the helm, creating the life that you want. That's what this podcast is about. You and being the best you could be, singing from your real voice, aligned with your mission, aligned with your passions. That's what it's about. So if you're interested in letting go of anxiety, if you're interested in letting go of fear, guilt, all those blooming syndromes, imposter syndromes, and every little bit of the mind which is negative, then have a listen here, because we've got some wonderful processes and lots of good conversations between you and me to get us both thinking in such wonderful ways. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Just take the chance to have a listen.
This is Personal Development Unplugged with Paul Clough.
In simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
Hey, my friend. This is simply this simple. What are you talking about? Well, that's my meta view of what I'm going to talk about. It's simply this simple. And why is it important? Because I want to share with you and get you to feel and know that you're driving your bus. You're not a passenger. You're not passive. You are in control. And again, still vague, but you are. And I know you can do this. And I want you to think that. I can do this. And what if I did? What a brilliant question. And I want you to hold that in your mind. It's okay. I can do this. And what if I did? Just hold that into your mind for a moment. Because I want you to imagine something for me. And when you imagine it, it could be in 20/20 vision. So you see everything perfectly in 20/20 vision. Everything. You hear the sound in 20/20 vision. If you can hear sound in vision. Some people do. But you can hear everything in 20/20 sound. 5.1 surround sound, something like that. You can hear and feel and see everything. Or you can just be simply aware of your imagination. You're not seeing it with 20/20 vision. You're just aware that it could be there. Now that's, to me, is that visualization process in your imagination. But just bear with me. And I like to think that when you're listening to this, you don't need, for the next little bit anyway, the next 10 or 15 minutes, you don't need anything to do. It's not hypnosis, but I just want you to just put some time aside just to get this. Because when you get it, something will happen. I know it will. So if you could, thinking that it's maybe 10 or 15 minutes that I just want for you to have time with you, put that time aside. So it means pausing this podcast, this episode, and coming back to it later. Fine. That'd be awesome. But just, if you can. So Because you see, when you use your imagination, a lot of the time we use it with our eyes open, by the way. So maybe you're just going to do this with me anyway. And you're just like a daydream. But I just don't want you to have things which you're responsible for. That's what I mean. Things that you have to do and you have to be careful with. But putting that into the right place now. So if you've got the time, you're going to be safe. Just imagine this. However you do it, 20/20 vision, or just all the way through to simple awareness. Imagine being at peace. Yeah. Being at peace. Where would you be? Where are you? When you're just being at peace. Just have a look around. In this inner dream world, as it were. Is anyone with you? Or are you alone? Not alone, but are you just with yourself? And as you notice that, what can you hear? Can you describe what you're seeing now with your inner voice? Describe what you see when you're being at peace. Because this is just imagination. So imagine the scene of being here that's giving you true feeling, a true feeling being at peace, whatever that means to you, for you. Listen to the sound and the tone of that inner voice as you describe the scene around you. Describe what you hear. Maybe describe and notice how you move physically. What is that feeling of being at peace physically? How would you move? How would your muscles feel? How would you breathe? Notice now when you're at peace. How would you breathe? Yeah. And the emotion. What is the emotion of being at peace? Is it just comfortable? Is it Is it a sense of connection? Connection inside or a connection with something else? Just notice that now. So notice what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and what you're feeling. When you're in this, simply being at peace. And just take a moment to just recognize it. And if you wanted to, you could make it even more, by the way. So, if you wanted to, you could always come back to this episode, press play at the beginning, and make it even more intense might not be the right word, but more richer. So the experience gets even richer and deeper. Maybe. And as you think of that, I want you to come back. Open your eyes. Here you are. Well, if you didn't open your eyes, keep them open. Or maybe you want to blink just to put that. You know where it is. You could put it wherever you like. You could park it and then bring it back. That's the wonderful thing about this imagination of yours. You could put it over there. And at any time, if you just wanted to remember and re-experience being at peace, you could just draw it back in and jump in it again, couldn't you? But here's a question for you. Who the bloody hell did that? Who did that? No, not me. Not Cluffy. I just knew that the road to travel, the path. But anyway, I want you to imagine something else now. You see, I want you to bring to mind something maybe from the past where it was, I don't know, maybe a little daunting or something that you didn't do quite as well as you wanted. Maybe you were talking to somebody and then the words got, and you were thinking so much about what you wanted to say, you weren't listening. And you didn't get that connection. Or maybe you were doing something and you just couldn't quite concentrate. Or maybe you got a little angry with somebody, a little frustrated. And you knew, as you think now, could I handle that better? Have you got one of those? You see, I want you to think of that in a minute, but not like you can remember it. What? Yeah, I don't want you to bring that memory back. You just know that was something in the past that, as I say, was a little daunting, something you didn't handle the way you'd have liked to handle it. And you see, now, I want you to think of how you would have wanted it to go. That's right, how you would have wanted it. And I want you to imagine, again now, using that wonderful imagination of yours. Imagine going back to the start, just before the start actually. Just before the start of that episode, that context, that memory, well, that thing that you wanted to get better would have started. And notice how you'd have liked just notice your intention of how you'd have liked it to be. What was the result you wanted? And as you think of that, just setting your intention, just notice if you're sitting, standing, or walking, how are you breathing and how are you moving the way you want to be? That's right. Just notice how you're breathing the way you want it to be, because this would have been a better way. So let's just imagine doing it the way you'd have wanted it to be. And notice the sound of your voice on the outside. Confidently competent, confidently competent, comfortable, caring. You imagine that sound of the voice as it comes out of your mouth, the words, how you connect truly with those words and the sound that comes out of your mouth, just the way you want it. Notice that inner voice of yours and the pictures that you make in your mind of how much you want that result and how you're going to get it, because you can. I can do this. And notice that feeling you have, the feeling that you could have had, but now you can. In this context, what would be the ideal emotion to have? And what are the resources you'd be accessing? Right like this. That's right. Maybe it's calmness. Maybe a little assertion. Maybe it's connection. Maybe it's connection to all the data in your mind. All the things you know, your skills. Always holding the result in mind, maybe. Seeing the bigger picture, where you're going, your intention. Just notice how the things you'll see, you'll hear, and the way you feel and you move is just the way you want it. And notice as you do that, the result will be just, maybe even better than you could dream of. And as you see yourself and be in here, be in this imagination dream, as it were, doing the thing just the way you would have wanted it to happen. And have the words echo this or something better. And then just let it go. Just let that go and say, close your eyes and blink very quickly, or just open your eyes if you close them. And again, who did that? Who did that? Now we know the answer. You. absolutely you. I just had words. But you have the resources. You did all of that. It's your imagination. And no one, see, that's your superpower because it's yours. No one can control it. No one can control your imagination. Social media, advertising, things like that, they try. They try to control your imagination by getting you to think this way, getting you to think that way. But you don't have to. You can just say no. And your imagination is unlimited. Because if I got you to do those two things again, you could do them even better. And I suggest you do. And I suggest maybe you make a habit of this. Feeling the feelings that you want to feel more often and just imagine having them. Or if there's something that doesn't go quite your way, imagine doing it the way you would have wanted to do it because your unconscious mind doesn't understand the difference between reality and imagination. And it all begin to know this is what you want. This is safer. Your imagination is totally unlimited. And it's just up to you what you do and think and imagine. And when you put your time to it, I mean, how much effort did that take? It was bloody good fun, wasn't it? Felt good. Because if you think about it, both of those is all about feeling good. Feeling successful, feeling at peace, feeling at whatever. And that's it. You did that. I mean, imagination. We all have it. Sometimes we just have to practice a little bit more. Have that, now you can do it. You've got the belief. I can imagine anything. What more can I imagine? What a wonderful question. How can I make these imagination dreams even richer? It's your way of thinking. Because if you think about it, two people came to my mind very quickly. Einstein, good old Einstein. We love him here, don't we? In simplicity, there's genius. And he imagined solutions to his problems. Or he imagined the problem and then he found the solution within that imagination, that dream. He was riding that beam of light. And then there's Disney. Walt Disney. He had such a wonderful imagination, but he believed in his imagination. Both of these people believed in their imagination. They used them to such a wonderful extent. And the effect on the world of just those two people from their imagination. What did their imagination affect? They affect everyone in such a wonderful way. It was like infectious. But they had, if you think about it now. If you were to just look around, I'm looking around my little recording bit here. Everything here had to be imagined first. It didn't just suddenly come out of, oh, there you go, we've got one. Everything had to be imagined first by somebody. Now, some of those things, those dreams, just float away because they didn't take action. But when you imagine this and take action, now you're really using your superpower. Because this is yours. I've got mine. A superpower. Forget the hype of all the other things that people try to sell you. This is your superpower. I'm not going to say it because I've got so many things I can think about and talk about other people trying to push superpower. This is your superpower. Use this. No, this is yours. You control it. We all use it. You use it. Maybe not from the moment you're born, but as soon as you start crawling and playing with things, you see children, their imagination is immense. It's only when we become sometimes boring adults that we start to temper our imagination. But sod it. You go out there and imagine it. Go out there in your imagination. Oh, man. You see artists and things like that, and the things that they draw, they paint, they bring to us, and you go, wow, that's so beautiful. But it all came from imagination. And if you look at that and you start to imagine, what could I do? What is inside me? Maybe I can't draw and paint just like that, but I've got other things I could do. Or I could do something similar to my level, being my best. So it's yours. And the thing is, there's that saying, you'll see it when you believe it, which is sort of true. Because I'm going to go back to that. Because I heard the thing, I think it was Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer, I think he actually wrote a book as well saying, you'll see it when you believe it. And the other one is you'll only see it when you believe it. But the thing is, I don't know if I made sense there. One is you'll see it when you believe it, and one is you'll believe it when you see it. But the thing is, they're both true, aren't they? Because when you're in your imagination, you're seeing it. You're creating it. And in there's a belief. Because it's your imagination. Wow. Because even if the belief might be, I wonder if I could. Because you see, when you do it this way, as I said before, your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. So if you go to that thing of where you're changing in your mind how something could have been, your unconscious mind starts to go, well, maybe we've done it like that before. And it's certainly better than that other time in the past. So maybe they're the resources I need. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? So you're now you're changing personal history in some way. It's an NLP thing, but you're learning. It's the whole point of, that didn't go quite so well. And now I've learned from it, so I'm not going to get anxious about it again. It's a wonderful way of clearing anxiety and fear because I've learned from that thing in the past. It's in the past. And now I know how to do it because I've learned from it. Anxiety be gone, confidence and competence comes back. And then you just allow your mind to dream of what you want in the world. Yeah. So you have a massive responsibility, by the way, because you're in charge of this superpower. And with it comes a great responsibility. You see, your unconscious mind uses your imagination too. It puts up those little things. When you're anxious, trying to protect you, your unconscious mind gets you to think and dream and imagine the worst possible scenario so you don't make that same mistake again. But what happens is the conflict happens when it's just overwhelming. And there's too much anxiety, too much fear, too much, imposter syndrome, too much not good enough, all those things to shut you down. But now we can say, well, hang on a minute. I understand you're trying to protect me. We can talk to our unconscious minds. I know you're trying to protect me, but that's not working. But this does. And then you imagine how you want it to be. So you ask yourself the question, is what I'm thinking good for me? Making me feel better? Or is it making me feel worse? And if it's making you feel good, make it better, imagine even better. And if it's making you worse, blow it away, send those thoughts away, shrink them down, turn them very dark, very small, throw them over the horizon, they're gone, and then imagine the way you want it to be. That's all it is. And then ask a question. What would it be like if it was like this, though? What can I learn? And from those learnings, how would it be if I was truly safe? And then imagine it. And tell your unconscious mind, you go and get those resources for me. You go get the powerful emotions that will match this even better. You go get those positive beliefs that will support me and keep me safe. You go get those wonderful behaviors that encompass all of these to make my life safer. And do it like this or something better. And imagine that scene just like we did, how you want it to be. And you're then in charge again, because you're saying to your unconscious mind, look, you take the two things, that crappy stuff you were giving me that made me feel really bad, wasn't protecting me. It was making me feel unsafe even before the bloody thing happened. Making me feel fearful. That's not healthy. It's not good. It's actually stopping me using the resources I have. And then you show it the other way, in your imagination, and then say to your unconscious mind, go do this. You go do this. Let's have some fun. Let's have more fun than we can stand. In a nice way. Let's make a difference. And let's learn. Yeah, great that you wanted to save me. Great that you wanted to keep me safe. But let's do it a better way. A way that works. And I believe then your unconscious mind has to do that. Because you're suddenly realizing what it's doing is not working. And there's a better way. And then I believe it then begins to form into a habit, or you enjoy doing this stuff, thinking, imagining, dreaming. And then you can start asking yourself, well, what could I really dream for myself? If I believed I could have anything in the world. I'm not talking about money and things like that, but a rich life. What are the emotions I would love to have, and what things would give me that emotion? And then imagine having them. Imagine doing them and feeling that feeling. It's really setting that feeling of the wish fulfilled, isn't it? And who's creating all of that? You. And I said to you before, ages ago when I first started Cambridge Hypnotherapy, at the bottom of our website was dream, create, excel. All starts with dreaming, and dreaming is your imagination. And if you can write a few bits down as well as you dream, just so you don't forget it, and have a dream book. Maybe just instead of a puzzle book, you also have a dream book, and write those dreams down. Dream them, and then notice what opportunities will this dream give you? What will you be able to do and experience? What does it mean to you? How important is it? What will allow you to do and feel? Write those buggers down. Because when you write them down again, you re-experience it again. And there's no harm in re-experiencing good stuff, is there? There you go. Have a play with that. Your superpower that no one can take away. It's yours forever. You were born with it, you'll die with it. So let's use it. That superpower for good. Okay. Use it wisely, my friend. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll go and dream wonderful dreams and make them into your reality. Maybe you could dream sharing this. Where did these come from? Cluffy. Maybe you could just dream of sharing this episode with as many people as you could, so they can too dream away. And remember, if you just looked at the device that you're listening to and just opened it up and saw that subscribe button, boop, maybe you could just press it for me. Make a big difference. And I'd really appreciate it. And I hope you got some golden nuggets out of this and all the other, however many hundreds of episodes there are now. Please enjoy with my compliments. And thank you so much for being with me on my little adventure of my personal development, doing all of this. So have more fun than you can stand. I didn't create that saying. I think it was Richard Bandler, one of the co-originators of NLP. I love it. Have more fun than you can stand. Why not stay for a spell? He says some wonderful things like that. And enjoy. And if you want, you can always get in touch with me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. That's the email address. Give me some feedback, give me some questions. Let's create some episodes just for you. Anyway, it's time to fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.